Hey guys, Abe Ovadia here. I want to talk to you today about predetermined treatment protocols. This is what State Farm, Geico, and other insurance companies are suing chiropractors for, suing other doctors for. I'm going to give you in this video clip really quick, really concise information on things that you're probably doing. I guarantee you you're doing one or two of them at least. What you could do to avoid and reduce your risk of being sued. In the past, these companies have sued people with 5 offices or more. The last year or two, they've been suing places with 1 location, places with 2 locations, places with 5 locations, 10 locations. They've been suing everybody. They just recently sued a clinic in Miami with 1 location, which I'm like, wow, they're going after everybody. And this is something that I do. I enjoy working on representing doctors when an insurance company sues. So I'm going to give you guys, from my experience, from the court cases that I've been involved with, from the ones that I've read online, why they're suing doctors. All right, so let's get started. What is a predetermined treatment protocol? State Farm has this really long description. I actually really like the way that they worded this one. I'm going to read it to you. Based upon a legitimate examination and diagnosis, a licensed professional must engage in medical decision-making to design a legitimate treatment plan that is tailored to the unique circumstances and needs of each patient based on several factors such as severity of injury, medical history, age, mechanism of injury, physical condition of the patient, and other factors. During the course of treatment, licensed professionals should modify treatment plans based upon the unique progress or lack thereof of the individual patients. And then another paragraph here, treatment plans should be periodically reassessed and modified based upon the progress of the patient or lack thereof. That huge thing, I've got it summed up in one sentence: every patient getting the same treatment regardless of pain or prior medical history. For instance, I'm going to give you some for instances, okay? A 6-year-old child is in a car accident with a 40-year-old parent. You would not expect a 6-year-old child to receive the same exact care that their 40-year-old parent would receive, okay? Likewise, someone who's coming into your office, Monday they come into your office. Person comes in and says, hey man, I hurt my neck. It's like a level 2 pain. Another person comes in, hey man, I hurt my neck. It's a 10 out of 10. If your initial examination recommends both of those people to come to your office 3 times a week for 4 weeks, you're doing it wrong. What the insurance companies want, and particularly State Farm and Geico, are the most aggressive in pursuing doctors, so that's why I mentioned them. I'm not picking on them. I'm not picking on you, Mr. Farm, or Mr. Buffett. But that is something that they're very aggressive about going after doctors for. So, if you have 2 people that are in the same exact car, they're both in the same car, they both come into your office, it would be rare it would be rare that they both get the same treatment plan. Hey, come in 3 times a week for 4 weeks. We're going to do the same 5 modalities. We're going to do a hot pack. We're going to do an adjustment. We're going to do E-stim, ultrasound, and manual therapy. The same 3 times a week for 4 weeks if one of them's telling you they got a level 1 and one of you's telling them they got a level 10. First things first, what is a predetermined treatment protocol? A predetermined treatment protocol, every patient getting the same exact blank. So for instance, if every patient comes into your office and they get recommended 3 times a week for 4 weeks, that could be a predetermined treatment protocol. Like I said, you would expect some people to get less visits for the first 4 weeks, maybe more visits. Somebody might get 2 visits. Somebody might get, hey, come in 5 times a week for 4 weeks. Come in 4 times a week. Another thing that often happens, so number 2, every patient getting 30 visits. So if you're a doctor, let's say you're a chiropractor, you treat every single patient in your office for 30 visits or until they drop out of care because they stop coming in, they're not hurt. That is a predetermined treatment protocol. Does it have to be 30? No. It could be 42 visits. It could be 27 visits, whatever the number is. If I'm an insurance company and I'm looking for patterns and I say, holy smokes, I got over 2 years, I got 30 patients here with the same doctor and each one of them stopped treatment at 27 visits, that's a problem. Number 3, every patient getting recommended for MRIs on the blank visit. So I'm a doctor, patient comes in my office, every single patient that's in an auto accident gets recommended on day 1, on day 3, on visit 5. They always get recommended for MRIs. Again, I'm an insurance company. I stack 20 charts together and I say, oh my gosh, every patient's getting recommended for MRIs on the same visit. That's a predetermined treatment protocol. You could get sued by Geico, State Farm, or any carrier for doing that. Why? Because you wouldn't expect, somebody might have a knee that's swollen to the size of a grapefruit, and they should get recommended right away for an MRI, whereas if somebody's saying that their neck is a level 1 pain, you might not even recommend them for an MRI. So that goes to number 4, which is every single patient getting recommended for 2 MRIs. Okay, so I've seen it where everybody gets recommended cervical lumbar. You put 20 charts together, oh my gosh, they're all cervical lumbars. You would expect in a normal setting, even after a car accident, right? A normal car accident clinic, you would expect some people would say, hey, I just have neck pain. Or, hey, I have neck and back pain, but my low back is a level 1 or it's a level 2. That doesn't really justify an MRI, okay? I'm sorry. As a personal injury lawyer, yeah, I would love to have a MRI on every case. I know that if I have an MRI and it shows an injury, I make more money. As a lawyer representing doctors who get sued by insurance companies, big no-no, okay? So I've seen every patient, this is really weird, I've seen a clinic that they always send for a cervical and a thoracic MRI. Every patient, not cervical lumbar like 90% of the clinics are doing, which again, you shouldn't be. Occasionally, you'd find somebody with a knee pain. You'd recommend them for cervical, lumbar, and knee pain, right? They're having those 3 issues. Occasionally, you'd find somebody with just one body part that's injured, right? But for some reason, this one clinic's recommending everybody for cervical thoracic, which is, I don't know who started that one, maybe, but I've seen it, okay, with my own eyes. So billing every exam a level 4 or a level 5 code. If you are a chiropractor and you're billing a level 5 code right now, I wish I had a red flag. I'd throw it out there. Major red flag. Insurance companies, yes, they pay more money for a level 5. I can guarantee you that in no circumstance, if a patient came into your office and they were, oh my gosh, they're a level 5, maybe once a year, but for every single one of your patients to be a level 5, that's a major problem. Every single one of your patients being a level 4. Insurance companies, they're not dumb, guys. They know that a level 4 pays more than a level 3, right? So make sure that if you're billing a level 4 or a level 5, make sure you write down my number, because I want you to call me when State Farm or Geico comes after you and they're like, hey, man, you billed every patient a 4 or every patient a 5, okay? Take down my number, call me, because you're going to need me. Bill a level 3, okay? I know that you're leaving $50 on the table or $100 if it's a level 5 that you would normally bill. But I'm telling you right now, there is a slew of lawsuits, 1 million lawsuits from Geico, from State Farm, against doctors in the state of Florida for routinely billing level 4 and or a level 5 code. Bill a level 3. Yes, Geico has sued a couple of doctors who routinely bill a level 3. Personally, I think that's BS. I think they would lose on that if it actually went to court. A level 3 is a level 3. It's not a super complex, super serious injury like you would expect at a hospital, and it's not a level 1. But make sure you're billing, if you are, bill a level 3, okay? For most people, if somebody says, hey, man, I have no pain, I got a level 1 pain, that would probably be a level 1, right? Based on the description. I know the CPT code has a lot of descriptions. They updated the exam code definitions and descriptions recently about, sometime after the pandemic. Read that. But if you want to be safe, if you're just like, hey, Abe, listen, man, I just want to treat patients, do the exam, I don't want any problems, bill a level 3. That's my advice to you. Every initial exam report says, quote, patient enters the clinic in obvious painful distress. If every single patient entered your office in quote, obvious painful distress, I think we would all assume that it's a templated language, a boilerplate language in your report. Just take that kind of stuff out, guys. I'm sure it's checking a box on your EMR software or even on a piece of paper. Take that stuff out because there's no way, it is 1,000% unlikely that every single patient would have the same thing. I had another doctor who would put every patient had, quote, severe neck pain. He would handwrite that in, every note, severe neck pain. Every single patient. It's extremely unlikely that every single patient would have, quote, severe neck pain. Some would have moderate, some would have minimal, some would have none, right? So again, the insurance company is looking for patterns. If they got 20 of your charts and put them together, what patterns would they notice, okay? Here's another pattern that comes up often, a 4 out of 5 muscle strength. So doctor does the muscle strength test and says, 4 out of 5 on the right, 4 out of 5 on the left. They're just being lazy. It could be the associate doctor at your office. They're just like, whatever, put a 4 out of 5. It sounds good. I don't know. But I've seen a countless number of lawsuits, and I've even represented some doctor groups where the associate doctors are writing, they're always putting a 4 out of 5. I don't know why. Also, let's talk about MRIs. You guys know that I own 7 MRI centers right now. I'm big on MRIs. We put in high-quality MRI equipment, 3T wide. We put in a brand new X-ray, lowest dosage radiation that you can find on the market. So let's talk about MRIs. Here's the problem with MRIs when it comes to a predetermined treatment protocol. We already talked about every patient getting an MRI on the 3rd visit or on the 5th visit or whatever. We spoke about every patient getting the same 2 MRIs over and over, even though they might have a 3rd body part that's in pain, or really they just have 1 body part that has enough pain to warrant an MRI, right? To medically warrant. I know the personal injury lawyer is like, yeah, get me 10 MRIs. But remember, we got to practice medicine here, okay? So MRIs ordered, but 1, there's nothing in writing justifying the need for an MRI. If you're a doctor who just signs a script for an MRI and you send it to the clinic, if you don't have anything in your documentation saying, hey, this patient has radicular complaints starting in their neck, I'm ordering an MRI. Hey, this person has, numbness in their big toe, I'm ordering an MRI. A specific reason. There was one doctor group where in the lawsuit, I forget which insurance company said, every single patient, they wrote down to, quote, rule out disc herniation, end quote. That is, according to that insurance company, not enough. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. But I would say, you know what? If we're going to do it, let's just do it right. Let's be more detailed. Let's just put in, hey, guy has shooting pain down his arm. Sending him for a neck MRI, okay? Whatever the exact reason is, all right? So 1, no justification in writing about why they're ordering an MRI. 2, there's nothing in the notes that says, hey, patient got the MRI, I reviewed it with them, and I explained the findings. That's number 2. Number 3, no change in the treatment plan. So when a patient comes back with the MRI report in their hand or you get it faxed over to you, guess what? You should have a follow-up examination. You should document, hey, I reviewed the findings with the patient and we're changing their treatment plan based on the results of the MRI. Why? State Farm has said in several lawsuits, they say what medical research they use, medical guidelines, they always cite like the Family Council for Medicine, this organization. They're always like a nonprofit organization, right? And it says they recommend that you start off with passive therapies, okay, and eventually work towards active modalities to strengthen the muscles and ligaments and all these things. The core, to strengthen them to help further reduce the pain and issues that they're having. So they're saying, look, this is what they're saying. You're sending for MRIs. They get the MRIs. Nothing changes. Their treatment plan doesn't change. You don't even document that you reviewed the findings with them. And we get this huge bill for X number of MRIs, okay? So they want you to change, and they quote it from passive to active. I don't think that's necessarily the case, that you need to change from passive therapies to active therapies, like, more PT stuff, exercises, etc. I do think what you should do, though, is do a re-exam, say, I reviewed the findings, these are the findings they have, and give them a new treatment plan if it's warranted. Or you could just say, at the very least, say, hey, I treated this patient. I examined this patient. I reviewed the findings with them. They seem to be improving based upon the examination, and therefore we're going to continue with this treatment plan that they're currently under, and we're going to extend it for 4 more weeks, okay? When an MRI report comes back, I've seen it with my own eyes as a personal injury lawyer with my personal injury hat on, is the MRI center says, hey, I would recommend a thoracic MRI, a dedicated thoracic MRI. I've seen something on there that should be investigated further. But remember, the radiologist reading that report can't order a new MRI. So the treating physician has to order it. So that's why in the notes, in the MRI report, it'll say, hey, I noticed something on the thoracic. I would recommend a dedicated MRI for the thoracic. The treating physician must either do one of two things, say, hey, I saw the report and I don't think it's necessary at this time, or write a new script for a thoracic MRI, okay? At the very least, you need to document that you saw that and read it and then made a decision of your own whether to refer or not. Why you wouldn't refer for a dedicated thoracic MRI, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. You're not paying their MRI bill. Yes, I'm saying that as the MRI owner a little bit facetiously, but if the radiologist says it, you should at least document why you're not. I will tell you, we were doing a cervical MRI on a patient at my MRI center, and my tech, who's awesome, out in Fort Myers, saw something in the brain, actually, and while he was doing the neck, and said, hey, picked up the phone, called the doctor, the referring doctor, said, hey, I see something in the brain. Can you get me a script over? I want to do the brain scan. Did a dedicated brain scan, found a tumor in the brain of this patient, unrelated to the accident, but found a tumor, saved that woman's life. It was a very large tumor in her brain that she did not know she had. Now, last point, and this is more about x-rays than anything. If you get an x-ray report, or if you do an x-ray and somebody has a fractured vertebrae and you're a chiropractor, you cannot adjust them. It's a contraindication. I've seen doctors, at least 2, get sued or threatened with a lawsuit. Hey, you're adjusting patients that have a clear contraindication. It's in the x-ray report. It says that they have a fractured vertebrae at this level. Why are you adjusting them? So that's obviously a big thing, is if you're going to send somebody for x-rays, read the reports, review them with the patient, and then treat the patient based on the findings of the report, okay? So that is, in a nutshell, a predetermined treatment protocol, predetermined treatment plan, and those are all things that people are doing. So if you want to avoid them, you can, hopefully this got, your juices flowing and you're thinking, all right, wait, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I need to change that, okay? If you have questions, just call me. You guys have my info. It's available. I want to help you. I'm not charging you for these videos. I'm not charging you to steer you in the right direction. I want to see doctors get better at their note-taking and also just reduce risk of getting sued by these companies. Thanks for watching.